I've been asked what I'm using for my exercise gear for my own little workouts, and I've come up with a little cart system that seems to work. I can move it around as I need to. I'm here in my office, but it's too small to actually work out in. I actually work out in the loft, but obviously my wife won't let me keep weight gears and whatnots out in the loft, so I have to use a sort of a cart system where I can pull it in and out as I need to. I think eventually I'll end up in the garage with the equipment, but for now, this is what I've got. So let me walk you through what I have, and we'll take it from there. First thing I have is the yoga block. Why? Because I'm just not that flexible, and so I use the yoga block to deal with the fact that when I'm doing Yoga X, I really need to open myself up on some of those moves, and this helps out a lot. Second thing I have is the standard P90X hang over the door sill contraption for doing your pull-ups and chin-ups, etc. So that's pretty straightforward. I ordered this at the same time as I ordered the set, sort of had some sort of a bulk discount deal, and that's what I'm using to do my pull-ups. The third thing that I'm using that's also associated with something I talked about earlier, which is yoga, is a mat. This particular one is by Reebok. Unfortunately, I'm not paid by Reebok for this, but nonetheless, it's Reebok. I like this mat because on the bottom it's rubberized, so it doesn't slip around, but on the top it's got sort of a terry material, so that when you're sweating like a dog, and believe me I do, I can use this terry material, sort of wicks away the sweat, and I'm not sliding around too much. And the rubber backing on it keeps it from sliding around on the carpet, obviously. So that's pretty long. It's a good 6.5 feet long, which works out for me pretty well. And it's got a little bit of a cushion to it as well. So this is what I use for my Yoga X and any other mat type exercises. It works out great. Okay, so for push-ups, I have the perfect push-up gear here. This little contraption is sort of on a steel ball bearing system, and when you do your push-ups, it sort of twists around, which lessens a little bit of the strain on your shoulders and elbows. It does make push-ups a little bit more difficult, but that may not necessarily be a bad thing in terms of the actual amount of muscle force it is to take to get me off the ground. But I like them. They move smoothly, and I can get those deeper push-ups as necessary. So that's the perfect push-up. These cost about 45 bucks. I think you can get them at Target now, but you can also find them on eBay and many other places online. And last but not least is the Bowflex dumbbell system. I like it because I don't have to have a huge rack of weights to work with. I can use these to sort of do just about anything I need to do. They're quick and easy to get in and out of. You simply dial up what you want, you can lift it out, and away you go. Now, although this system looks pretty easy in terms of speed, etc., it's actually pretty difficult to dial up the weight settings that you want in the middle of a workout, and then change to a different exercise that might need a different weight, and then dial those up and do a different workout. So you might find yourself, if you're using these this dumbbell system, that what you're going to end up having to do is pause the video on those exercises that you're not using the same weight between different types of exercises. So that works out. I also, when I originally got it, I got it with just the dumbbells, but I went back later on and got the little cart that goes with it. I think it was maybe an extra $75 or something like that. It's very strong, it's sturdy, and best of all is that I can put all the other gear that I've shown you earlier on it and kind of roll it around as I need to. It's got little casters here that you can lock the wheels out, and it has this handle in the middle, which comes in handy I'm a big dude, and so some of the chin-up exercises are pretty hard. So I use this little bar here to put my foot on to stabilize myself when I'm doing some of those pull-ups. So that works out really well too. So I'll hang this, put this near the door, and I'll have my pull-up set hanging over the door, and put my foot here, and I'll just do my pull-ups with that way. So when it gets to the point where I can't do too many more, I'll go ahead and throw a foot on this little toe hook here, and away I go. So that is the components that I use for my P90X. I did have the bands, those elastic sort of surgical rubber bands, but I found that I couldn't really get the right resistance or the right angle to sort of do the exercises. In a pinch, they're great, but I would highly recommend at least a few sets of dumbbells. Maybe if you're a guy, maybe 25 or 35, 45, and maybe worst case is 55 if you can't necessarily get a set like this. And for ladies, obviously something a little lighter, maybe in the 10 to 25 pound range works out pretty well. So that's kind of how I'm dealing with it. That's the equipment that I use. I like the gear. It's all pretty good quality stuff, and it hasn't failed me yet. So that's the gear I use for P90X.